All right, guys. So here we are at the end of Operation Homecoming. The Allies have just conceded the game. I thought I'd make a quick little recap video to kind of talk about the game and where we're at and everything that happened. So right now, Germany just took their sixth turn. The Axis are at 10 points with 8 other points that are definitely still in play and possible. So given the events that have happened, the Allies decided that they didn't see a way to stop us from getting and holding the 12 points we need for victory. Overall, it was a pretty good game. I don't know. I don't want to say dice decide the game, because they definitely don't. I think we all agree on that. And that's why we play this game, because it's fun in terms of strategy and trying out different things. And if it was all determined just by dice, well, then I'm sure none of us would want to keep playing it. But it was one of those scenarios, like the Axis on their first turn, Germany especially, just had great dice. And Paris, wiping out the fleets, they had 5 subs. Isn't going to change the game, but it just seems like every round, I think Commander Ironsides kind of said it the best. The Allies really couldn't catch a break, whether it was, missing a combo here, getting a Lend-Lease block there, or just the right unit happened to hit in a certain area type of thing. So it was kind of, we can't really look at one specific part and say, yep, that is where the Allies lost it. I just think it was all those little things, like I just said, that kind of added up over time. Just all those little things kind of going the Axis's way that could add up to an entirely different game. In terms of the Atlantic, the Germans were strong from the beginning, wiped out both fleets, had a sub left over here, built a couple, had an air force. The Americans were playing both sides of the board and just couldn't get a big enough fleet to compete with the German Air Force and the Italian Navy. And it was difficult for the UK. I don't think he necessarily made a wrong play, because he had to spend so much protecting Calcutta. It was and Cairo really too, that it was just difficult for the Allies to build much up there to put a lot of pressure. In terms of over here, I started off with a Spanish activation that I wasn't sure if I would regret, but it ended up, I think, building a good Atlantic defense throughout the entire game, just because the Italians and the Germans could easily work together to defend really all of Europe just from Gibraltar, because he couldn't really make it into the Med, and he kept getting cut down, so he couldn't come up here. The Chaplain did try to do a little, I think it was last turn, tried to come into Norway. Definitely a smart play, but again, he got diced. I mean, I'd like to say that, I defended it well and whatnot, but I think the reality is he got diced. I don't think I should have been able to take Norway back, but that's just how the game went, so I did kick them off of Europe again. Really, it would have been a couple turns before the UK and the Americans could really even be a threat to mainland Europe. There's just not enough time left in the game. I think they would have Cairo in the bag. I made the choice with Italy to pull out of there just to keep the Americans at bay. Just because I knew, I might lose Cairo, but I could easily pick up the Med point next turn and then just focus all of the money Italy was making on keeping Gibraltar. Like I said, Italy kind of broke through down here, so Commonwealth had to put a lot of their money over here. UK was kind of doing the same, because once Italy takes Cairo, if they're not stopped there, they just keep taking everything. So it was definitely smart of him, especially after losing Calcutta, for the UK to put all their money pretty much right in this area. I'll talk about Russia, I guess, a little bit. Man, it was interesting. I did the Italy can opener strategy I like to do. Ended up being really effective just because what it does is it'll allow Germany on their turn to rail units into new territories and to land planes there. But it ended up working out. There were a couple little mistakes, I guess, that not even a couple, just one. He happened to leave his planes here early on, so Italy could take that, and Germany could kind of sneak through and take him out, which was unfortunate for him, but it is what it is. I kind of marked out here what the Germans and the Italians could hit next turn, and like we saw on the tokens over there, they could clean up quite a bit of stuff, even if the Russians do counterattack. Over on this side of the board, the Americans were putting a big pressure on Japan early on in the game and really throughout all of it. But once Calcutta fell and he could move his whole fleet over here, there wasn't really much that the Allies could do, just given he had super carriers. He had 4 of them fully loaded. I kind of was toying around to see, what a battle would look like. And I don't know, the odds could kind of go either way. But even if the Americans win and they're left with just a couple units, I mean, Japan would be making so much money at that point that it really wouldn't make too big of a difference. I think the big thing was when Admiral Balch came over here and took Calcutta, he did lose a lot of land units, but he didn't lose a lot of planes, which allowed him to maintain that very strong naval presence throughout the entire game, really. But yeah, China was interesting, very interesting this turn. Not a lot of Japanese attention was focused on it, so he was able to put in a lot of artillery and new cavalry and kind of push the attack. Maybe the Russians would have came down, put some hurt there. The Chinese could have moved up a little more. Who knows? But I think we agreed it wouldn't make too big of a difference on the game. But I could keep rambling. I won't. It was a very good game. Good game for the Axis. I think a lot of stuff kind of went our way that maybe shouldn't. But I also think, I do want to give us a little bit of credit. I think we played a very good game. But yeah, I'm excited to play with these guys again. They're great opponents. Chris is a really fun guy for me to play against. You guys probably don't know this, but I kind of got back into BBR when I went to the St. Louis tournament last year, and I lost on our first day to Chris. So it's kind of been fun doing YouTube games with him. I don't know, maybe there's a little friendly rivalry growing there, but I don't know. We talked in the game chat. We'll definitely have to do a rematch sometime. We always end up having interesting games. Whenever I play with the Chaplain or Admiral Balch, I played with in person before. This was our first YouTube game. We'll have to play together again. But yeah, the Chaplain, Chris, Admiral Balch, all great guys. Great game. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys on the next YouTube game. Catch you guys later.